I'm Christy J with Stitchin Heaven, and today I'm going to show you how to make a super easy and fast placemat. We had this beautiful fabric come in. It's so gorgeous. It is Spring Chicken by Moda. It's a Sweetwater. It's the designer, and it was so cute. And I was thinking, so what could I do super quick, super easy to use this at home? So I had these placemat packages, and it's a quilt as you go project. We had these in the store, and I've been wanting to make them for a while. So this fabric and this just kind of paired perfectly. So I'm going to show you how to make these today. I'm going to put these over to the side. In your package, like I said, it's quilt as you go and it's super quick, but in your package you have enough for 6 placemats. Nice and generous, and again, super easy to go. So these are by June Taylor, and this is the set of 6 Venice placemats. I believe there's some other placemats as well, but this one was my favorite, so I pulled it. Okay. So it's going to look like this when we finish. Again, super easy, super quick. If y'all know me, I'm typically that 4-hour or less kind of girl on a project, so it happens really fast. The nice thing about this too is there's this nice pocket. You can put silverware, napkins, or other things, condiments, anything in them when you set the table. Super useful, and again, super cute, especially for spring and summer. Okay. All right, so when you open your package, like I said, you're going to get 6 placemats, and the batting looks like this, and it is printed. So when you get it out, just cut the pieces apart. You'll have 6 of these, and then I just kind of take my hands and I pretty it out. It says numerous times in the instructions that come with this, it says do not iron these, but I think their thought was don't iron them because things could get distorted. So you just want to kind of use your hand and kind of smooth it out. Okay. So yardage requirements are actually on here, and it tells you strips, how to cut your strips. I've already cut our strips for us for ease, and then you'll need some backing fabric. And what I've done with the backing is I cut the piece of backing, and I actually use some fusible basting spray, put it down, and kind of basted it where it needed to be, just so it stays in place. Okay. The first one I did when I was actually just trying this, I did not use the basting spray. It stayed in place, but I do recommend the basting spray. I just think it'll be a lot smoother. Okay. Okay. So on this, if you will notice, there are placement lines or blue lines. These are not sewing lines, these are actual placement lines, okay? So kind of let me show you how this works. Okay, so what I've done is I've cut our pieces, and again, super quick, you just cut them with a rotary cutter. They're strips, and they tell you how many of each, and I've just kind of put them in order. Okay? So the first one is like, I believe it was like a 2.5-inch square. And what you're going to do is you're actually going to line it up with the blue on the placemat. Okay? Super simple. So just line those blue lines up with your piece. Okay? And then you're going to get your piece 2. It's my piece 2. I'm going to put it face down and line it up on that first line. Okay? If you'll notice here, this edge here is square against line number 3. Okay, and then you're going to actually use pins. I'm not a pinner typically, but pins on this make it super quick and super easy. So you're going to just kind of pin those in place, and then you're going to move over to the sewing machine. So on the sewing machine, you are just going to you're going to go from that blue line number 3 over. Okay. The main thing here on this, you want to pay attention to those blue lines. You don't want to go past the blue line. Okay. that's kind of your guide. Those are your guidelines. So you never want to go past your guideline. Okay. Then you're going to pull your pin out and you're going to open it up. And like I said earlier, they encourage you several times in the instructions not to use the iron. And my first instinct is always to just jump on the iron because I am a presser. And I also usually like to starch a lot. So just FYI, before I started, I did use the best press and starch them really well. Okay, so you can finger press it really good. We also have these little rolly irons, and this is the perfect job for this. And you just roll it over and it creases it really, really well. Okay, so that's 2. Now we're gonna go to piece 3. So what we're gonna do is we're going to take piece 3, line it up on the line, and again, don't go past the border line. It's all about boundaries today. Just line that up and stick a pin in it. And again, we are gonna go to the sewing machine and we're going to line it up with our 1/4 inch. Let's go this way. Pay attention to those boundary lines. Let the machine do all the work. And again, you're going to stop at the end. Pull it over here, pull the pin out, open her up, use your little rolly thing, your little rolly iron, and open her up. Does a really nice press. Forgotten how much I love these little things. I'm gonna have to get several for home. Okay. Then we're going to get piece number 4. Again, we're just lining it up. Remember the boundary line. And stick your pin in. Take it to the machine and stitch. And the nice thing is about this too, as we are doing this stitching, it's going all the way through. So we are quilting it as we go. So we don't have to go back and quilt it. That's what makes it so quick and easy. And I went over the boundary line. Did anybody see that? So if you do that, just take your seam ripper or your scissors and just kind of clip back to that line. Do you see that? Okay. So here it is. I just kind of clipped back to that line so I don't go past that boundary. All right, then I'm going to open it up again. It's my rolly iron, and there is a name for this rolly iron. It is made by Clover. Can't remember the name right now, but it is very handy for sure. We will link it in the comments. How about that? Okay. Now we're going to take piece 5, and we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to continue all the way up. Pay attention to your boundary lines. Stick the pin in and stitch. Okay, that middle section is done. Remember a few minutes ago when I talked about boundaries, don't go past your boundary lines? I'm going to show you why. So here's what we're going to do now. Move my lovely tablecloth over. And what you're going to do is you get a long ruler. Creative Grids is my favorite. And your rotary cutter. And what you want to do is carefully roll this back to your boundary line. Remember, we sewed to that boundary line, but you can also see it here. You can see the blue line, okay? So you want to roll that back. Okay. And I put my batting up because I don't want to accidentally cut into my batting. Okay, so batting up, roll it back. Put this right past the batting, so we're going to line it up just a hair past that batting just so we don't cut into it. And then we are going to rotary cut it all the way through to make that line smooth. Okay. Get rid of this little chunk here. Okay, and if you'll look, when we open it back up, that side is flat. See, that side's flat? We're gonna do the same thing on the other side as well. So what you're gonna do is carefully roll it back, find your blue mark. There's my blue marks here. And like I said, if you happen to sew over that boundary, all you have to do is take your rotary cutter, your scissors, and just snip those stitches. Okay, and again, just don't cut into the batting. And just cut those little corners off. You might want to save these corners to make something else, or you might want to stuff a pillow with them. Okay, all right, so when we open this back up, we've got our braid in the center. And if you can see this, it quilted all the way through. So when we're done, we're completely quilted, okay? So the next one, it says, so I finished with the number 12. So the next one's number 13, okay? 13, did the little Cheerios, they're so cute. I'm gonna put my 13 here. So what I'm gonna do is right sides together, line up that line, and I am gonna stick a few little pins in here just because, keep everything nice and lined up. And you wouldn't have to pin if you feel confident with it. I just pin to line everything up, okay? So number 13, just gonna put it under the machine. And again, be careful about those boundaries. We got boundaries on the sides. So pull the pins as you get to them and just keep sewing. And sew all the way down to that end boundary, the blue line. And snip those threads. I love this little pin cushion here because when I drop my pins, they just magically just go where they're supposed to go. Okay, so we're gonna open that one up. Again, I want to go over to my iron and iron so bad, but we're gonna use our little rolly iron, okay? And just press that really well. Number 14 is next. So basically this is kind of like quilting by number, which is kind of fun. Anybody else paint by number back in the day? Okay, so we're gonna place this one on line 14 and pin it. Okay, so I got those straight lines on. Let me show you kind of where we are. This is where we are now. Okay, it's come a long way. We're almost done. Okay, the next part actually includes the pocket, okay? So let me show you how I did this. It requires a long piece and then a shorter piece. So for the shorter piece, this time we are gonna use our real iron because I like using my real iron too. We're gonna take our shorter piece, we're gonna fold it in half, wrong sides out. This is such a super easy project. You cannot mess this up. I was gonna tell you too, if by chance you don't you don't get right on your lines, it's okay. It's very forgiving. Nobody sees those lines except you, okay? So on the outside, you're not going to be able to see them. So what we're going to do here, I have folded that in half, and the fold of it is going to go on top. It's going to be the closed end that actually holds your silverware or your napkins or whatever you're putting in the pocket, okay? So what I've done is, okay, let me kind of scoot this over and give us plenty of space to see. Okay, okay, so you're going to line this up here. This is your pocket. I just line it up here. I'm going to stick a pin in this, but I'm not going to stick a pin to the edge because I'm going to sew this right here. And I don't want that to the pin to get hit by my sewing machine. So I'm going to pin it kind of out here a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to stick my last block, my last rectangle here. Okay. So if you look, we have sandwiched the pocket. Put this on top. Put it right on that line. And this one I actually am going to put the pins right here. Okay. But I just needed that extra pin out here on the pocket just to hold the pocket down where I wanted it so nothing slips. So pins can be your friends in this situation. Okay. I'm going to take it to my machine again. Do a nice 1/4 inch. Pay attention to the borders, the boundaries. Stitch that baby all the way down. Okay. If you need to smooth it out as you go, that's fine too. Not a big deal. Okay. Sewing through several layers here. And we're going to stop at that border and cut our threads. Okay. Alrighty, let's see what we got. Gonna push this one out, and I'm actually gonna go ahead and iron it out here, kind of press it down. Okay, I'm gonna pull that last pin, and I'm gonna pull that one over the pocket, and I'm gonna iron it too. All right, I'm going to stick a pin in it again just to hold that pocket where I want it. Here, okay. All right, so now we're going to square this baby up. You can square it anywhere you want, but remember we have boundary lines, okay? So the boundaries are what we're going to do. So again, and if you want to put a few little pins in on to hold the edge, I'll put one here. Don't put them too close to the side because we're going to be squaring this baby up and we don't want our blade to hit it. I'm going to put one probably right here and one right here. Okay. All right. You can actually, if you want to, you can flip it like we did before, or you can pretty much kind of see where the blue lines are. Can everybody see where the blue lines are? Okay, so you can kind of see where the blue lines are, where the guidelines are. And I'm just going to take my rotary cutter and let's make sure I'm on it. Nice thing is there's actually some little plus signs down there that kind of show you where you're going. Okay, and then you're just going to rotary cut it. Okay. And go again on here, and if you can see the little plus marks right here, a lot of times I will just kind of line up my ruler with those little plus signs because I can see them. And again, if you cut too much or whatever, nobody knows. Nobody sees those lines except you. They're covered up by the fabric. Okay. So I've got my sides done, so now I have to just do the top and the bottom and do exactly the same. And again, if we want to do it the other way, this is how we do it. We roll it back. You can roll it back here if you want to. Cut that excess and then go back and cut the sides off. So it's a two-step program that way. I would just probably put it here, find your lines, and you can kind of look and see where we are. I can see my lines, and just trim it all at one time. Otherwise, it's that two-step process of getting the fabric out of the way and then going back and cutting the batting. One more edge. And we will be done, except for binding, and binding's super easy too. I'm going to show you that one too. Here we go. Okay. So here's what we've got when we've squared it up. Our placemat's ready and our little pocket is ready. Now all you have to do is actually bind this. You bind this exactly like you would a quilt. And it tells you how to cut your binding as well. But since I'm going to use these a lot this summer because they're super cute, I figured we're going to throw them in the washing machine a lot. So what I did was I did my binding by machine. So instead of sewing on the front, flipping to the back, and actually sewing it down by hand like you would like a show quilt, I've sewn my binding from the back, flipped it over, and then done a decorative stitch on the outside. You can do a straight stitch here, you can do a zigzag. I did the feather stitch because to me it looked like little chicken tracks, and these look like little chicken tracks to me as well. So it kind of went with the fabric theme. It was super easy, super quick. If you have any questions, please let us know on it. But it's just a super easy, quick project. You can do 6 at once. Finish them in an afternoon, super easy. You can't mess it up. It's pretty awesome. So this is called the Sew As You Go, sew by number, and the pattern is actually printed on the batting. So everything's ready to go. And this line is the Spring Chicken by Moda. Super, super cute. You can kind of be scrappy or pick the ones you want. We'll link those in the video, in the description. And you can find all of this at www.stitchinheaven.com. And please like us on YouTube. Have a good day.